G'day guys, Chronicles of Solid here and welcome back to another review. Today I've got the Royal Enfield Himalayan, so let's get into the review. So I'll just get initial specs out of the way. It's a single cylinder 411cc. It makes 24 horsepower and 32 newton meters of torque. So that means it's a learner approved motorcycle here in Australia. It goes for $6,990. The tank here is a 15 litre and Royal Enfield are claiming that that will get you 450 kilometers. It's carburetted. It has a 300mm front disc up here. At the front, just a single, and a rear disc as well. At the back here, as you can see, it's got the all-important spoked wheels. It's got a 21-inch front and a 19-inch rear. 17 rather, not a 19. It has a 17-inch rear. And it looks pretty different. It looks kind of like half scrambler, half adventure bike. Okay, so she's carburetted, so hopefully she starts up alright. Yep. Familiar Royal Enfield thump. So if you're not familiar with Royal Enfield, they have a very long history in motorcycles. One of the longest actually. This is about as off-road as it's going to get for me, unfortunately. Anyway, as I was saying, Royal Enfield actually originally were the same company as Enfield gun manufacturers. But then in 1901 they started developing motorcycles and they put their first motorcycle into production in 1902. And they also hold the title for the longest single running motorcycle, which is the Royal Enfield Bullet. But they were bought out in 1955 by an Indian company, and since then quality has not quite been there. And having a look, it does look pretty good. I've seen other Royal Enfields and they look quite cheap. As far as Enfields go, the quality doesn't look too bad. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Now you're probably wanting to know power specs, especially because it's quite low for a 400, only making 24.5 horsepower. So to put that into perspective, that's the same as a CRF 250L really. The big difference is it has about 8 to 10 newton meters more torque. So it does feel quite a bit torquier. I'm going to go onto the highway here. Hopefully I can get it up to speed. It's a very easy bike to ride. Because it's a single cylinder 400, it's a very low compression. It just loves to lug. It just does a really good job of pulling off. So if you're a learner and you're wanting a bike that's very hard to stall, this bike's it. It is a bit porky though. She's 185 kilos. So I'm just touching 100 here. And the vibes really aren't too bad for a single cylinder. If you're coming off a twin, it's going to be very noticeable. But if you're coming off a single cylinder dual sport, more than manageable. I was really expecting this to feel like crap on the highway. Reading all the reviews and looking at the spec sheets, I'd got it in my head that this wasn't going to be a very fun bike to ride. Turns out it moves pretty good. What have we got here? dude on a, what looks like a Husky. Want to swap? So you've got plenty of information up on the dash, which has changed from the single cylinders I've been on. You've got gear indicator, you've got fuel, trip meter, temperature of the engine. Obviously you got your revs, you got a battery indicator, the whole 9 yards. So that's a nice touch, I think. Ergonomics aren't too bad. I'm 180 centimeters tall and I'm not finding it too cramped, although the gear levers and stuff are definitely made for people with much smaller feet. This bike is just a really nice bike to do a Sunday ride on. If you're into speed and performance, this isn't going to be the bike for you. But if you're the kind of bloke that just wants to hop on a simple motorcycle and just chug along, I think this would be a pretty good bike actually. The brakes feel adequate. They're not amazing, but they're not terrible. The suspension feels a little harsh. The windscreen is doing a pretty good job of protecting you from the wind. It's hitting me just at the top of my visor, and as I said, I'm 180 centimeters tall. I'd say if you're bigger than 6 foot, this bike might be a little cramped. It's just my opinion, but I'm kind of feeling a little bit cramped up here. It's not too bad, but I would like a little more room just for the feet and maybe maybe the legs a little bit, because you don't have much room between your knees and those crash bars up the front. One really annoying feature has been that this bike makes an incredibly annoying whiny sound when the kickstand is down and the engine is on. Oh, it's terrible. Why they've done that, I don't know. They could have just put in a cut-off switch and everyone would have been much happier for it. Yeah, you've really got to change the way you ride this. Got to treat it like a old classic motorcycle in a way. I mean, that's what it's trying to imitate. And the engine is very basic carburetted single cylinder. It doesn't like to be hurried along. You just kind of ride the wave of torque that it offers. Mirrors are pretty good. They look like if you dropped it, they'd break first drop, but they give pretty good visibility. Crash protection is pretty good for this actually. You can see the crash bars in front of me. Just looking at close details here though, you can see just here with the way this protrudes and stuff that quality isn't quite up to the Japanese companies. If any of you guys have Royal Enfields and have some input on how they are to own long term, I'd really love to hear your thoughts, because that just adds to the value of this video. If people are trying to decide and they want to know what long-term ownership is like, try not to think of it as an adventure bike, even though it looks like it. It rides like a very comfortable dual sport. I think it's probably I think KLR-esque really. That's what I think when I'm on this. The engine doesn't feel quite as snappy as the KLR, but it's very much the same chug along feeling. It's quite flickable. I don't know about the tyres on it. It's not snappy like my WR250R is with the handling, but it's stable enough in the corners. Now unfortunately I don't have long, because this dealership gave me quite a short time limit, because I think there were some other people wanting to ride it, so I don't get my usual long test ride with the bike. So apologies if it's not as enlightened as other videos. So far everything feels good. The gearbox doesn't feel too cheap or clunky. It It basically feels like a really torquey 250. So because of that 8 extra newton meters, it does feel a little better on the highway than say my WR250R, and that extra weight just gives it stability. You can see it's really windy, the screen's shaking, it's absolutely blowing a gale, so hopefully you can hear me. But the bike chugs along fine. There is a bit of an issue, like you twist the throttle and it does take a while to get moving. Don't hit me, Mr. Triton. It does have ABS, so it's nice to see that they've been able to chuck on that safety feature. I really think that's a must for a bike that's going to do a lot of road miles. There's no traction control, no rider aids. The suspension, the front looks like it's non-adjustable. The seat is a little more comfortable than your regular plank of wood dual sport, but it isn't that fantastic. I've had way better seats on street bikes. It's not the worst, it's not the best, it's about average. Because the engine is such low compression, it's really not stressed at all, so it really is nice and lazy, and you just kind of waft along. It's quite gentlemanly like that. That's a good way of describing it. It's kind of the gentleman's cafe adventure bike. If you're into low tech, fixing things yourself and just bumbling along on the back roads at a nice leisurely pace, I think this bike could at least worth a test ride and have a look. I forgot to mention the ground clearance is 220 millimeters, so I think that's about 8.6 inches for you Americans, so it's about around the KLR kind of ground clearance, so not too bad, but this will be fine on dirt roads. So I'm just coming back into the dealership here. I do apologize for it being such a quick review. Overall, I think I was expecting it to be such a bad bike that it surprised me a little bit. It's much better than you think it would be for the weight and power specs that it gives. Just don't expect it to be anything like a modern single cylinder. It just isn't that responsive. You got to think of this as a retro classic with long travel suspension. It's very soft and mild. It's just a gentleman's adventure bike. So that's the Royal Enfield Himalayan. It's got some nice little touches like the brushed metal on the engine casing. You see bash plate on there. You've got your crash guards. You've got a top rack, which is nice. Exhaust guard. It's got a center stand as well. All nice touches. One thing that you might need to do is protect the oil cooler here. You probably need another crash bar there, because that looks like it might get hit by a rock if you're taking this off-road. But you will have to do some modification because the gear lever is non-foldable. It is quite a small bike too. It's not very large at all. So if you're a shorter rider, it's pretty good. The seat height's about 800 millimeters, so it's about the same as an F700 GS, which is really, really low. So if you're a short rider and you're wanting to get an adventure bike, this might be it. Anyway, that's about enough of me gas bagging. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Catch you later.